Good morning and welcome to your first video on ellipses. Before we talk about ellipses, let's just review quickly the information we already know about circles. So recall, we learned about a parent circle, and remember that a parent circle had the equation x squared plus y squared equals r squared. Okay, and the parent circle was centered at the origin with a radius of r. Okay, another important feature about a circle is that the coefficient in front of the x squared term and the y squared term were both positive and exactly the same. Here you can see the coefficient is 1. Now, what is an ellipse? Well, just like all other conic sections, the ellipse has a parent equation. So the equation for the parent ellipse is the following. It's going to be x squared divided by a squared, and I'll explain what these are later, plus y squared divided by b squared. Okay, now, in this ellipse, notice that a and b are different variables. So the defining feature of an ellipse is that there's a different coefficient in front of x and y, but they're still both positive, okay? Now, just let me relate these two. Technically, a circle is really just a special case of an ellipse. So for example, if I take the parent circle, right, I could sort of make it look like an ellipse, right? What I could do is I could divide every single term by r squared, because I'm trying to get the 1 over on the right. Okay, and this would equal x squared over r squared plus y squared over r squared equals 1. And so theoretically, I could make it look like an ellipse. But here, because r squared and r squared are exactly the same, we would know that this is a circle. Now, we don't usually write circles like this, but I just wanted to sort of show you the connection. Okay, so this is the important equation, the parent ellipse. Okay, now, there are going to be two types of ellipses that we need to worry about. And I'm going to sort of draw those down here. And we'll learn about these more completely in the next video, but just for sort of a reference, right? We can have what's called a horizontal ellipse. Okay, and if you have a horizontal ellipse, it's going to look like this, right? The horizontal axis is going to be larger than the vertical. And here, just to use some terminology, because the x-axis is a lot larger than the y-axis, in a horizontal ellipse, the x-axis is what we call the major axis. Okay, it's kind of a big deal. It's really large. And therefore, the y-axis would be considered not as big. Maybe the minor axis is what we call this, okay? So think of it like Major League Baseball is better than minor league baseball, right? So major axis is larger, minor axis is smaller. Now, you probably guessed it, in addition to a horizontal ellipse, we could have what I like to call a vertical ellipse. So let's see what that would look like. Okay, a vertical ellipse would sort of be tall and skinny. So it would look like this. Oops, that's not such a good drawing, but you could see here that the y-axis is the major axis because this one is the larger axis, and the x-axis is the minor axis. Okay, I will see you in the next video.